guys, it's Meg. What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome to the podcast. Have you ever gone on a vacation or a day trip with your friends and wished you had a way to save the memory? Let's talk about junk journaling, because for so many episodes in the past, I was like, guys, I think I'm gonna junk journal. I did it, but I didn't do it from like January to December. I started at my birthday, which is in May, and I went through to like May. So I'm doing like I literally took a picture in chapter 25. So like this year now we have chapter 26, and I'm so excited. I love it. I think it's so cute. We have a couple sources, so we don't skirt too much. The first source we have is artjournalist.com, and the article is called "What is a Junk Journal? Junk Journaling 101 for Beginners." And you want to know when this was posted? October 4th, 2018. 2018. People think junk journaling is like this new thing, and it's not. It's been around, and we're going to get into it more later this episode, but there's definitely been other variations of junk journaling. I really liked this person's definition that they made up, because there is no one solid definition for junk journaling. They put, a junk journal is a book which is often made through found and recycled materials to be used as a way to collect and record memories, thoughts, ideas, and inspiration. And then we're just going to pull like some things from this website because it was more about how to start junk journaling. They gave 5 ways to use a junk journal. Number 1, an everyday journal. And this just meant like literally they were taking stuff from their day-to-day lives and they were literally putting it in the journal to document it. Number 2, the junk journal planner. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Number 3, a memory book. And I feel like this is what mine more is, where it's like you take a day that seemed really important to you at the time, and then you take little like receipts or candy wrappers or food wrappers, clean obviously, and then you like put them in your journal. 4, personalized gift idea. That's kind of like a scrapbook. 5, themes. A theme book. So you pick like a certain theme of the book, like flowers or your dog, and you just make the whole book about them. Then they give you techniques to explore. They said you could add pockets to pages. You can vary paper sizes and shapes. You can bring out the stamps. You can make it personal. And this is what I love. We're going to talk about this right here. They said for number 5, don't be afraid of printing things out. This is very controversial in the junk journal community, I've learned, where people believe that a junk journal should just be that. It should just be junk. It should be stuff that you find. Like, you collect a business card from the restaurant you went to. You take a sticker off of your orange that you ate. You rip off the label of your water bottle. They were saying how it needs to be junk, and you shouldn't go out and buy scrapbooking paper for it, or buy stickers for it, or buy stamps for it, or print things out. And I think that is so dumb. Sorry, deeper dumb. That is dumb. Because, like, it's your own personal choice. It's your own book. And, like, what if you want to print out a picture of you and your friends that were on a coffee date together? And then you, like, take the business card for the coffee place. Maybe you take, like, the label off your coffee cup and you stick it on. Then you print out a picture of you and your friends. Like, I think it's so cute and personal when you do it that way. And the last thing they said is mix up the way you add in tabs, clips, bookmarks, and more. And we're going to lead into our second source, which is CNN.com, which is crazy that junk journaling became so popular that CNN decided to make an article on it. And their article is called, "In a Chronically Online World, People Are Finding Respite in Junk Journaling." And this was created this year. It was January 25th of 2025. And they said that junk journaling searches spiked in late December and early January. And I honestly believe that because like junk journaling was all over my TikTok. And they said that junk journaling is a free-form hybrid of a collage, scrapbooking, and traditional journaling. It emphasizes the use of found and recycled materials. And then it gave some examples: a sticker from a piece of fruit, a pamphlet picked up at a museum, a piece of product packaging that's too cute to throw out. But they also were saying in this article that junk journal has been around for so long and that it might come from zine making, which is an art form. And they said that Carrie Smith's 2007 Wreck This Journal is a huge part of junk journaling, which is crazy because I remember the Wreck It journal. I wanted it so badly, but my parents were like, we're not buying you something to ruin. But it's also crazy. 2007? Like, how old is that? 2025 minus 2007. 16? Is that 16? I can't do math. And I don't know where my calculator is. You know what? Editing Meg can just come in and do the math for us. Hey, what's up? It's Editing Meg, and I just want it on the record. I never said I was good at math. I went to a music school for a reason. It is 18. 2025 to 2007 is 18 years. Thank you for that. That's so old. I literally remember that this junk journal came out, and now there's so many different variations of it. I'm debating if we should go into junk journal. Well, let's keep going. Maybe we'll talk about that again later. And it was saying that the process of junk journaling forces you to appreciate the little things, which I think is so true because, like, you go, like, I keep using that as an example, like, you're going out for coffee with your friends. That's something so minimal, so, like, common. But it's so special because it's like, how often do you really get to see your friends? Like, once you graduate school, you hardly ever see your friends. Like, that's the one thing I definitely took for granted going to school was I saw my friends every single day. And now I'm, like, lucky if I see them once a month, even if they live, like, literally 3 minutes from me. It's, like, so hard when you get older to make plans, and they don't talk about that. And I wish somebody said that to me years ago, like, hey, cherish your friendships now because you're barely going to see each other when you're older, especially when people move out of state, and it's so sad. But they said there is a return to analog, that young generations are expressing a want for physical media, such as printed books, magazines, CDs. And they also said this was a way to romanticize life, which we did a podcast on romanticizing life, Editing Meg. The episode was from season 11, episode 4. Thank you for that. And it's true, I feel like a lot of people are starting to want something tangible and physical, like films making a popular comeback too, because we are a generation that is strictly digital, like online. Like, we're the generation that truly grew up with technology and the internet and social media. So we don't have the physical, tangible things anymore. And we have one more source. I only pulled a couple things from it, and it was RollingStone.com. Can junk journaling be an answer to digital fatigue? And this came out January 9th of 2025. And I honestly just took the ideas they said that could stem from junk journaling. So they actually talked a lot about scrapbooking, and I think we could do a whole podcast episode on this because it was so interesting. They said that scrapbooking storied history as a way for women to create and hold family records and information prior to the first wave of feminism. And it became popular in America during the Civil War and used during the suffrage and abolition movement to preserve newspaper clippings. And I think with everything going on in this country, I think it's a good time to start scrapbooking, junk journaling again. Just saying. They said that this article is talking about how there's always been some type of form of junk journaling over the years, like going back to scrapbooking from the Civil War. Like, there's always been like some type of record. In 2016, there was the bullet journal that was super popular on Tumblr, which I know we just did an episode on Wattpad. Do y'all remember Tumblr? Like, maybe we need to do a Tumblr episode. But on Tumblr, people would create blogs where they put up their setups, their calendars, their lists they drew using rulers and the line markers. And I remember bullet journaling so badly. I remember I wanted to do it, but I'm like, my handwriting's so messy and, like, it's just not aesthetic. And back then, like 2016, it was all about the aesthetic. It wasn't about, like, being messy and, like, just being who you are. It was, you had to be, like, picture perfect. Like, that was definitely, like, the Tumblr, Visco, Wattpad era. I guess in a way, I do bullet journal now because last year, besides a junk journal, I also started a reading journal, and a lot of my spreads come from bullet journal pictures. And then the other thing they talk about is Carrie Smith's 2007 Wreck This Journal, which is crazy. And I feel like now there's so many different Wreck This Journals too. I'm gonna be honest, kinda confused. There is Wreck This Journal Original, Wreck This Journal Now in Color, Wreck This Picture Book, Wreck This Journal Everywhere Mini, and then there was a few other books, but I'm not sure if they're part of the same line. But yeah, we're gonna now deep dive into this week's segment of Deep or Dumb, and we're gonna talk about junk journaling. Welcome to Deep or Dumb, the thought spiral we're all about to go on. The question is, do you think junk journaling is deep or dumb? And as always, there will be a poll on our Instagram to vote. But yeah, I think junk journaling is so deep. Going back to like the whole analog, tangible, physical thing. The other day, I was looking at old photographs that my mom had of like her family that were literally from like the 50s and the 60s, 70s. And it was just so cool to see like what they were wearing and what they were doing, what like the houses looked like. And it made me realize, and I was like, oh my god, like our generation, like Gen Z, like maybe even like millennials, which is awful that I don't like to consider myself a Gen Z. I know this is before, like I'm on the cusp of it, like I could be a millennial, but like I'm technically a Gen Z. I'm like the in-between. Either way, like our generations, we don't have this. We're not gonna have photo books that our future relatives will be able to sit back and look and be like, oh, what was our family doing in like 2017? Because everything we have is digital. Everything's just online. Like they're not gonna be able to physically hold a picture or flip through a journal that we wrote because we don't typically have that. Everything is just so digital. So I think junk journaling is so cute and cool and deep because it's a way that like our future family members will be able to like look at it. I mean, they might be like, why is there trash glued to a notebook? But then like when you read the comments, like, oh, this was from this date. They did this. Whenever I like look at stuff from like the past, I'm like, clearly the person who took this picture or wrote this sentence, it clearly meant a lot to them in that moment. It was clearly meaningful. So then it adds more meaning than, oh, this is just a piece of trash. Like clearly we thought it was so meaningful that we should put that in. And I think that is so cute and so fun. So I personally think junk journaling is deep. I don't think it's dumb. But let me know on Instagram. So the next time that you're going to a restaurant or a coffee shop or a museum or just out with your friends, maybe you should start collecting your trash and recycling and repurposing it into a little memory book known as a junk journal. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Hey Guys, It's Meg. You can follow Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast on Instagram for updates and good times. Come back next Monday where I'm like 90% sure we're going to talk about a piece of jewelry and the history behind it. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out, Girl Scouts.